Hello, my name is Mark Freeman, and today we're going to go through some Vinyasa Basics. These are basics that you can take with you into just about any class to help modify and make a Vinyasa yoga class accessible for you. So we're going to start the way we would start pretty much any Vinyasa class, and that's in a place of rest. So in some classes, we might start up at the top of the mat, arms at our side, and that's great. In others, we might start in child's pose. Today, we're going to start on our back in Shavasana. So wherever you're at, just lay back and recline down onto your mat. Allow your arms to just rest by your sides. And take a few moments here to arrive in your practice. So what does this do? Why are we doing this? It's to set us up for success during our class. When you rest your head, the back of your head, the front of your head on the mat, it sends signals to the rest of your body that you can relax, that you can shift from where you've been into a new place. So we'll take a few moments here to just exist. And while you're laying here, you can get curious about your body. Start noticing how you're breathing, how the air is moving into your body, how the air is moving out of your body. Are you breathing with your diaphragm, or are you breathing with your rib cage? We're not going to say one is better than the other. Right now, we just want to notice. Let's take a big breath in through our nose, fill the lungs up. Open the rib cage, hold at the top for just a moment. Exhale, release the breath back out. We'll do that again. Big breath in. Hold at the top. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale, release. We're going to start very gentle and simple. So just take your knees up over your hips. And we'll do toe taps, taking the right toes down and switching, taking the left toes down. You can go at your own speed and pace here. You don't have to do it exactly at the same time as me. Keep switching from side to side. One more time each side. Great job. Let's hug our knees into our chest. Take a moment. You can rock from side to side, just allowing those cobwebby areas to just wake up, dusting them off, bringing a little bit of movement back into the body. If it feels good, you can grab behind the knees and rock and roll. This doesn't feel good for everybody. So if something we do doesn't feel good, skip it. Vinyasa is for you. This yoga practice is for you. It's not for me. It's not for any teacher or anyone that you're going to class with. So if there's something that you're not liking, always feel free to skip it or modify it to make it work for you today. So we're going to start, we're going to be here in a seated position, crisscross applesauce. If this is feeling tight, you always have the option of grabbing a block and sticking it under your butt and sitting on it. If your knees are up, that's fine. We just want our legs crossed here in front of the other. And take a few breaths, breathe in, exhale, release it back out. Come to a calm space where you're comfortable, relatively comfortable, feeling pretty good. We'll inhale, reach our arms up overhead. And exhale, twist to the right. Bring your left hand outside the right knee. We move on the inhale. You might inhale many times in each of these different postures, and that's fine. But when we move, we want to move with the breath. So on your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand comes outside the left knee. You can bring your gaze back over your shoulder or just off to the side. You don't want to force these movements. It's a gentle twist, a gentle stretch. Again, we're just dusting the cobwebs off, waking our body up. We'll do one more time each side. So inhale back to center. Exhale, twist. It's taking a few moments here on each side. Inhale back to center. And twist to the left. Next inhale, come back to the center. And we'll hinge from our hips and fold over our legs. You don't want to force these stretches, so if you're not bending over very much, that's okay. Just do what your body is allowing you to get into, and remember that we're just waking our body up and getting a little bit of movement back into our muscles, back into our joints. Inhale, come back up. Let's switch the cross of our legs, even things out. So again, reach up overhead. Hinging from the hips, forward fold. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Come on back up. We're going to come over our knees into tabletop. We'll do a few rounds of cat-cow. Again, waking our spine up, feeling into our bodies. So you want to plant your hands directly underneath your shoulders and your knees directly underneath your hips. You're going to turn your biceps forward. Your triceps will be back. As we inhale, you're going to drop the belly, lift the chin, spread across the chest, spread across your hips. And you can take multiple breaths here. You can be here for a few breaths. On your next exhale, round the spine, press into the mat, tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone, spread the shoulder blades away from each other. Again, keeping the biceps forward and the triceps pointed back. Inhale to cow. Move with the breath. And then exhale back to cat. One more time, inhale the cow. And then one more time, exhale back to cat. Now, you might see me tucking my toes and then untucking my toes. And that's just a personal preference. You can move between them. At this point in class, it's not going to make a huge difference. So do what's comfortable for you. At this point, though, we will tuck our toes. Bring your hands a little bit forward on the mat. Press into the mat and then lift your hips up. You can keep your knees bent here, especially if you live in a tighter body. And then use that opening of your knees being bent to press your chest down towards the back or towards the mat. You want to take the rounding out of your upper back and then lift your hips up towards the ceiling. This is downward dog. This is a very foundational posture. So we're going to take a little bit of time here to talk about some basics. So here in down dog, you want to keep pressing your chest down towards the mat and keep lifting your hips up.
If you can straighten your legs, that's fine. Your heels can go down towards the mat, and that's great. As far as your hands, you want to have the point of your fingers parallel to each other, and you don't want to be pressing into the heel of the hand. You want to press into the ball of the hand, where the fingers meet the palm, especially this L shape, where the pointer finger and the thumb come together. So take a moment here in down dog, press into the mat, lift the hips up high, press the chest down to the mat, and breathe. On your next inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Exhale, walk your way up to the top of the mat. And you're going to hang over the mat. Let your upper arms hang heavy, your head hang heavy. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale, touch the ground. And on our next inhale, we're going to come all the way back up to mountain pose.
Reach overhead. And then exhale, hands back down to prayer. So the next phase of class is a little bit of warm up, but also it's an aligning of the body. So we'll build a little bit of heat, and we're going to go through something called Sun Salutation A series. So this is a very foundational part of a vinyasa class. In most classes, you'll notice that the various sequences more or less will build off of this. So we will inhale, take our arms up overhead. And then on the exhale, we'll forward fold, bringing our hands down to the mat, down to our toes. You can touch your toes, tickle your toes. Allow your head to hang heavy. You can shake your head yes. You can wiggle your head no. Inhale, flat back. So you can bring your hands to your knees. You want to have a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. So touch your toes again. And now you're going to plant your hands and then step back, lowering all the way down to your belly. And then inhale, peel the chest up off of the mat. This is Cobra. Your feet will be extended back behind you. Take a moment in Cobra. And then on the exhale, tuck your toes. And then press back to downward dog. We call that the vinyasa, going through the Cobra back to downward facing dog. So take a few moments here in down dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift your hips up. Press your chest down. On your next inhale, look forward. Bend your knees. Again, make your way to the top of the mat. You can take 10 tiny little steps. You can take 2 big steps, 1 big step. You can even hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. So hands just below the knees. Exhale, touch your toes. And then on the next inhale, you can slowly come all the way back, reversing the swan dive. Back to mountain pose. And then exhale, hands to prayer. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach overhead. And then on your next exhale, fold forward, touching your toes. Next inhale, halfway lift, flat back, hands just below your knees. And then on the next exhale, plant the hands on the mat, step back, and lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Inhale, peel the chest up off of the mat. And then on the next exhale, you can press back to downward facing dog. Take a few moments here in down dog to breathe. Different classes will move at a different pace. So you can often use this down dog space to catch your breath or come back to a steady breath.
On your next inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Again, make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, hands just below your knees, flat back. Exhale back down, hands to the mat, touching your toes. And then inhale, reverse swan dive all the way back up to the top. Exhale, hands to prayer. One more time. Inhale, reach up overhead. And again, you can take multiple breaths here, but we want to move on the breath. So on the next exhale, forward fold, touching your toes. On the next inhale, flat back, hands just below the knees. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, lower all the way down to the mat, and then inhale, peel your chest up off of the mat. On the next exhale, tuck your toes, press back, downward facing dog. You can pedal it out, taking one heel down at a time, stretching the back of the leg. You'll notice that as we move through this vinyasa flow, your body's going to open up more. You might be able to get deeper into some of the postures. On the next inhale, look forward, bend your knees. Make your way again to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back, hands right below the knees. Exhale, touch your toes. This time, as we inhale, we're going to brush the mat with our hands, and we're going to keep our butt back behind us, keeping our knees bent a little bit, and you're going to lift up to chair pose. So in chair pose, your toes are touching, your knees might be close together, you're sticking your butt out back behind you, and you're reaching your arms up past your ears, lift your chin, and then a slight tuck of the tailbone. You might not be very deep in this posture. If you're more up like this, that's okay. You can be there. If you're feeling good, you can sink down into it. On the next exhale, forward fold, touch your toes. Halfway lift. Exhale, touch the mat, step back to plank, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, peel your chest up. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. We're going through our sun salutation B series. So inhale the right leg up, step it up between the hands. You might need to lift up onto the fingers to create space to step through. And then turn the left heel down. Inhale up to warrior one. So in warrior one, your right knee is over your right ankle, and your right knee is opening up to the baby toe of the right foot. Come back to the breath. Your left foot is at a 45-degree angle. You're pressing into the back edge of the left foot, and the left leg is straight. The left hip is pulling around towards the top of the mat. If you are not feeling very confident in this pose, you can always step your feet closer together. So you're still bent here in the right leg, but not as much of a 90-degree angle here. So this is a little bit more sustainable if you're feeling very intense. If this feels too easy for you, you can step the feet further apart and then sink into that right leg. So one more inhale here. Exhale, hands go back down to the mat. Step the right foot back, and you'll go through your vinyasa flow. So that's from plank down to the mat. Inhale up for a back bend. For cobra, peel the chest up off the mat. And then exhale, press back to downward facing dog. And then we'll do the other side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it up between the hands. Turn the right heel down, and then inhale up to warrior one. So again, the left knee is stacked over the left ankle with the knee opening up to the baby toe of that left foot. You're pressing into the edge, the back edge of the right foot, which is about at a 45-degree angle, with the right leg straight and the right hip turning towards the top of the mat. Your chest and shoulders are squared to the front of the mat. And you want to release the shoulder blades down the back, lifting your arms up past your ears. Again, if you need to, step your feet closer together. Narrow your stance if you need to. And then come back to the breath. Deep inhales and deep exhales. One more breath in. Exhale, plant the hands. Step back to plank and then go through your flow. Lowering all the way down to the mat. Inhale, peel the chest up. And then exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Take a moment here to breathe. Come back to the breath. On the next inhale, look forward, bend your knees, and make your way to the top of the mat. That might be 10 tiny little steps or one big step. Halfway lift, hands right below the knees. Exhale, forward fold. Hands brush the mat as you inhale up to chair pose. Sink your butt back behind you. Little tuck of the tailbone. Next, exhale, forward fold. Next, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, go through your flow. Plant the hands. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, peel the chest up. And then on your next exhale, press back to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it up between the hands. Turn the left heel down. Inhale up for warrior one. And then on your next exhale, open to warrior two. Adjust your feet if you need to. Your left shoulder is going to pull away from the right knee. The right knee is still opening up to the baby toe, but this time, instead of being closed hip, you're open. So your left hip is going to open to the back side of the mat as your right knee opens to the baby toe. And then extend your arms in front of you and behind you. With your gaze gently, softly over your front fingers. Come back to the breath. There's a lot of energy here in your pelvis. Energy coming up from the right leg, energy coming up from the left leg as you're opening up that left hip. We'll flip our palm. Next inhale, reverse warrior. So left hand goes down the left leg, right arm goes overhead. Gaze comes up to the ceiling. The lower body stays as it was in warrior two. On your next exhale, bring that right elbow to the right knee. Left arm goes overhead for extended side angle. If any of this is not feeling great on your legs, you can adjust your feet at any time. Come back to the breath. You're going to be pulling your right hip back towards the back of the mat as that right knee opens up to the baby toe of the right foot. You want a long line from the tip of the fingers on the left hand all the way down the ankle. So if you're feeling crunched over,
you can back out of the pose a little bit. Shorten your stance, modify as you need to. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Take the left hand down to the mat. Right hand down to the mat. Step back to plank. And then lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. And then exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, step it up between your hands. Use your fingertips to lift the floor up for you. If you need to, you can always grab a block and use that to elevate the floor to make it easier to step through. Turn the right heel down. Inhale up, warrior one. And then on your exhale, open to warrior two. So again, if you need to, you can shorten that stance. And your knee's not going to be as bent as much here, but it's going to be a lot more sustainable. If this is feeling too easy, just widen your stance. Take that foot back. Open the left knee up to the baby toe. Pull the right shoulder back away from the left knee, spreading across the body. Right hip opens up to the side of the mat. Spread across the chest. Flip the palm, reverse warrior. Right hand goes down the right leg. Avoid the knee. You don't want to put pressure there. Left arm goes overhead. Stretching along the side of the body, left side of the body. Next, exhale, left elbow, left knee. Right arm goes overhead, extended side angle. Looking for a straight line from the tip of the right hand all the way out the right ankle. Again, if you're feeling crunched over in this position, shorten your stance, come up a little higher, and that's totally fine. Take a few more breaths here. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. One more breath in. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Step back to plank. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back. Downward facing dog. Come back to the breath. If you ever are feeling overheated, or if you're ever feeling like you need to take a break, you can lower your knees down to the mat, toes come together, hips to heels, and you can relax in child's pose. So let's come into child's pose now. Bringing your forehead down to the mat or down to a block. Come back to the breath. Long, even breaths in and out. So we're going to come back up onto our mat. So sit down on your butt and take your legs out in front of you. If you live in a tight body, you might be leaned back a little bit, and that's okay. You can always grab a block, again, sit on it. If you need to bend your knees a little bit, that's okay too. We're going to have our legs extended out in front of us. Inhale, reach up overhead. And then as we exhale, take your hands down along the sides of your leg and walk your hands forward. And when you're stopped, just hang out there, and that's fine. Breathe in. And as you exhale, allow your body to walk the fingers a little further forward. Deep inhale, deep exhale. and deepen into that stretch. You're hinging from the hips and you're pulling your chest towards your toes as if there was a string attached to your chest, pulling it towards your toes. You don't want to force the posture here. This is an invitation for your body. One more breath in. Exhale, release, come on back up. Next, we're going to take our right heel into our upper left thigh. We're going to do a similar stretch. So inhale, reach up overhead. And then exhale, fold out over the left leg. Again, hinging from the hips. Bringing your nose down towards the knee. So the pose with both legs together, that was called staff pose. And then when we folded forward, that was just a forward fold, right? Now we're in Janurasana. Don't expect you to remember that. There's not going to be a quiz at the end. But it's always good to know the names of the different postures that different teachers might use. Come on back up. We'll switch sides. So again, we'll extend the right leg out long. Pull that left heel in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Hinging from the hips. Not forcing it. That's how injuries happen. We don't want injuries. Keep breathing. Long inhales, deep exhales. This is the part of class where we're able to deepen into some of that muscle tissue a little bit more, opening up what's called the fascia, allowing our bodies to stretch more, deepen more, open up a little bit more. So we'll come into our next pose. This will be butterfly pose. So bring the soles of your feet together. Your knees might be up high like this, and that's totally fine. Take your hands either to your toes, or you can just grab your ankles. Sit up with a flat back. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. You can use your elbows to press your knees down to the mat. Again, hinging from the hips. You're going to be opening into the inner thigh. One more breath in. Exhale, release. Come on back up. We're going to come into a straddle pose. I like to be on the side of my mat for the straddle, just to keep my heels and my feet padded the whole time. But if you don't want to, if it's not important to you, you don't have to shift around. We'll take our legs out to each corner of the mat. If this is a lot for you, again, grab a block, sit on it. You can bend your knees. What we're really looking for here is just being able to fold forward a little bit, right? So this is going to be an inner thigh stretch as well. So go to where you're able to feel kind of comfortable with a flat back. Inhale. Reach up overhead and exhale, fold forward. You might not get very far forward, and that's okay. If you're feeling a stretch in your body, you're doing it great. Be careful not to force these things. This is another one of those postures where as you exhale, you can walk your fingers a little further forward, keeping a flat back. Turn your knees back. You can point your toes or you can flex your feet. Either way's totally fine. No stress there.
One more inhale. Exhale, release. Walk your hands back in. We'll take our right hand on our left leg. Left arm goes overhead. If you're not touching your toes, that's fine. We're stretching the side of our body. Next inhale, open up. Reach that left hand up towards the ceiling. You can use that right elbow as leverage, opening up your body as best you can. One more breath in. Exhale, reach over one more time. Inhale, come back up. And we'll do the other side. So now left hand to the right leg, right hand overhead. Opening up. Try and lift your chest so you're not hunched over. Lift your chest up. Inhale, take the right hand up to the ceiling. Again, you can use that left elbow as leverage against your leg, spreading across the chest. One more inhale. Exhale, you can fold over one more time. And then inhale, come back up to center. Bring the legs back together. We're going to recline onto our back. Hug the knees into the chest. Now we're going to take our hands between our knees, grabbing the outside of our feet, coming into happy baby. So pull down on the feet, kick into the hands. If it feels good, you can straighten one leg, bring the other heel into your booty. Switch sides. Come back to center. And release our legs. Hug the knees into the chest one more time. Extend the left leg down the mat. Hug the right knee in. Now use the left hand to guide the knee across the body. And then extend the right hand out from the shoulder, bringing the shoulder down to the mat. If the knee hovers, let it, that's fine. This is a supine twist. Supine just means that you're reclined on your back. Allow your body to open and relax. Tell it that it's safe, that it's not being attacked, and allow it to deepen and relax a little bit more. One more breath in. Exhale, come back to center. Again, hug both knees into the chest. Extend the right leg long. Pull that left knee up into the armpit. And use the right hand to guide it across your body. Extending the left arm out from the shoulder. Enjoy these stretches. Just keep breathing, allowing your body to open. One more breath in. Exhale, come back to center. Hug the knees in one more time. And now extend both legs down the mat. Shift around if you need to. I'm pretty tall, so I have to scoot up, otherwise I'm not on the mat. Allow your arms to rest down by your sides. Take a big breath in. And then exhale. Sigh the breath out. Allow your body to feel heavy, to melt into the mat, like it was made of sand and just melting, dispersing into the ground.
and take rest. Again, become curious. Notice how the air is moving through your body. Notice how your body is feeling. Are there any areas that are still feeling tight or crunchy? Can you invite them to relax and release into the mat? You're welcome to stay here in Shavasana as long as you'd like. When you're ready to come out of Shavasana, bring a little bit of movement into your fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. If it feels good, you can take a big stretch, reaching overhead, and then roll onto one side and gently come up into a seated position. You can cross one leg in front of the other. We'll take one final breath together. You can have your hands on your knees. You can have your hands facing up, whatever is comfortable and works for you. We'll take one final breath in through the nose. Exhale. Sigh the breath back out. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for flowing today. I hope to do more videos like this. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a line. Thank you so much.